And now for more marketing mix. We talked about product, price, promotion, and distribution. And so far we've covered product and distribution. And today we're going to cover promotion. Now when we think of promotion, we tend to think of advertising. We see that, but we're going to try and dive a little bit deeper into this today. Now there's two types of promotion strategies that we could undertake. The one we're most familiar with is called the pull strategy. It's where the final user of the product wants the product. So in a pull strategy, for example, is the advertising that we see, billboards on social media and things like that. Wants us to stimulate the demand, move the demand curve to the right. One thing you may not be aware of is the push strategy. This is where you try to get the seller of the product to push the product. An example of this might be, let's suppose we're Sony and we want to push our TVs. We might go to Best Buy and say, look, if your salespeople sell 5 Sony TVs this month, we will give them a $500 bonus. I'm making this stuff up, but now what happens if you walk into a Best Buy and say, I'm looking for a TV. I've been thinking about Samsung. Well, the salesperson is going to say, to what to you? Well, that sounds really good, but you really want to check out these Sony TVs. Do you see what they've got going? So you get the distribution channel to push the product. Now, where that can get bad is where you have physicians who might push pharmaceuticals, and there's been a big backlash against that sort of thing. You don't want to get physicians to push particular products, right? You want to make sure that they're doing what's best for their patient, not what's best in their interests. In that case, there's a potential conflict of interest, right? All right, so those are the two major promotion strategies. We're going to talk now about some examples. We tend to think of the simple advertising, TV, radio, social media, internet, but we're really only limited by imagination. We'll talk a little bit more about some of those things. There's personal selling, one-on-one individuals, right? Word of mouth kind of things. There's sales promotions where buy one, get one kind of thing. Now, one aspect of promotion you might not think about is public relations. This is where a business is marketing the company, not a particular product. An example of that is a few years ago, BP had an oil rig blow up in the Gulf and catch on fire, spilled oil. Well, public relations kicked into gear to promote the company and tell, oh, here's all the good things that are going on, and here's what we're doing to help the environment kind of stuff. You'll have companies that, for example, Tylenol, many years ago, in a very classic example of good public relations, had a Tylenol scare where one bottle was tainted with some poison and somebody died. Well, there's only one bottle in the world, and yet Tylenol and the makers of Tylenol went all out, saying we are going to protect the public. We are going to withdraw the stuff from shelves and on and on. And in the end, you can thank all these tamper-resistant products due to Johnson & Johnson for what they did to help with the Tylenol scare. After they did that, they stopped selling liquid capsules. They put tamper-evident capsules, foil and stuff over them so that people could tell when things were tampered with. And a lot of other people have copied it too. But that's all part of public relations. But think about promotion. Can you think about different types of promotion? I told you about social media and stuff. We tend to think of those right away. Think about arena names, the names on arenas. Think about the signage in baseball parks. Think about people that walk dogs and they sometimes have little blankets over them saying, eat at Joe's. Those kinds of things like eat at Joe's and dog walkers and things. Those are examples of guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing is marketing that is unusual, cheap, but effective. I list here product placement. If you watch TV or see movies, you'll see products in them sometimes. Right? You'll see the names of the computer that they're using. You'll see Cisco if they're using video conferencing. You'll see the names of the cars. I've seen TV shows where people are driving around and go, oh, I'm using Microsoft Sync and I can tell you blah, blah, blah. We call those product placement. James Bond movies are famous for that. The watches and the cars are all paid for by the company to get put into those videos. If you see a movie and it has, or a TV show and it shows Coca-Cola or Pepsi, it's because they paid to have that product shown. There's many others in grocery stores. You have the grocery stores are amazing for the amount of research they do and the marketing. They're one of the most studied kind of industries around. But what will they do? The end caps, the things on the end of the aisle, those are all promotional items. If you look at one of my favorites is diners, the placemats. Those are so cool. If you're not reading a placemat, you're missing out on some good stuff. But there's no limit to the promotion other than a person's creativity. Cars have promotion by putting the name of the car on. Car dealers have promotions. They put the license plate brackets on or put their name on the back of the car. We have airplanes with banners. We have people who put the name of a product. They will tattoo the name of the product on their forehead for money. Believe it or not, people do that. So there's all kinds of different types of promotion. Watch for it. Now, part of promotion is interacting with customers. Remember I said early on that it's more than just an advertisement. What you want to do is keep in contact. So you have sellers who do things like they'll send you cards on holidays and things like that. You'll have sellers and businesses who will maybe had people send you a fruit basket or things, but they try and keep contact with you. A good example of a business that does this is the car industry. BMW started it with free oil changes and fluids for 3 years. Now a number of other companies do that too, but they want to keep in contact with the customers. If you don't just buy the car with me and go away. Keep coming back. Sometimes it's a free car wash, so you keep going back. That's the idea. So when you go to buy another product, that's where you go. Now, you're probably most familiar with things like social media marketing. Good thing about it, it's low cost, but there are privacy issues. So you don't want to get your stuff hacked. You don't want the data to get stolen. That certainly doesn't help in your customer relations. Look at people like some of the banks that have had data information stolen, or Yahoo and others. So you want to be very careful with that. But it's very low cost and very powerful. I encourage you, when you get out, take a look and watch for the different types of marketing that goes on. There's the AT&T relief pitcher of the game. There's all sorts of ways that we are marketed. Our clothing has logos on it. Our hats have logos on them. We're walking billboards almost. So you have billboards. There's lots of different ways that people market it. And again, it's just a matter of being creative.